2024 in gaming. I've been looking at some of the releases that's slated for next year, and I must say I don't have much much enthusiasm for 2024 in gaming. What have you seen as far as?
I see the new Star Wars trailer for sure.
Yeah.
For the rest, I can't remember the rest off the top of my head.
Well, we're gonna go through we're gonna go through some of the games that are supposed to be coming out. I'm just taking a look here to see which which one has the best list. It appears that all of these are updated. So I'll just stick with this one. This is from Game Informer. So in January, starting off in January, because I'm going to point out why I'm not really enthusiastic. There's two notable games. Well, that depends on if you care about The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which I imagine most don't. So I guess there's really only one. If you like the Yakuza games, which, you know, that's a very niche series, so most people don't care about that. Really, you only have Tekken 8. Tekken 8, you know, Tekken within of itself is already a niche franchise, and it's a fighting game, and not everyone plays fighting games. I could see myself, you know, covering Tekken 8, but from what I've seen from Tekken 8, it looks like they're trying to take cues from Street Fighter 6. Like they have an online lobby component. It really doesn't look that great. It reminds me of let me just pull it up. I'm going to show you.
What the? Oh, what? That doesn't even fit.
What
It's like a different game.
what does this remind you of?
If it remind me off the top of my head, it reminds me of those Wiimojis.
I was gonna say this shit looks like the avatars they had on the Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, that too.
It looks almost exactly like it. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, dude. Like I honestly like what the hell is this, dude? And then if you look at like this lobby that they have right here, it looks almost exactly the same. It looks like a ripoff of Street Fighter 6, what they're doing with the single player mode. It's almost as if they came up with this shit at the last minute and said, "Oh, Street Fighter is doing like an online lobby where they have a bunch of different like things scattered around. And you're able to run around and shit. Yeah, we'll just do that, but you know, we'll put in this we'll put in avatars too, but you know, we're gonna make them almost like chibi characters that look like they're two generations stuck in the past. They even got the avatars playing on like virtual fighting arcades like Street Fighter 6 had.
That doesn't fit at all.
Yeah, and see, the thing about fighting games is that they have a very short lifespan. The best time to play a fighting game is at the very beginning, when it's first released, because what usually happens when you wait to buy a fighting game? What usually happens? Because fighting games they're geared towards online multiplayer now, and they've been that way for a long time. What usually happens when you invest in a fighting game like late in its lifespan, not even late in its lifespan, probably like a few months after its release? What typically happens?
Not too big into fighting games, but I assume if you invest late in, you're gonna have people that are already much highly skilled than you, and just starting off,
Exactly.
you have a lot to learn.
Exactly. The people that are new to the franchise, or the people that aren't as skilled, the noobs as they call them, they abandon these games very fast within the first few weeks, and
Hmm.
all of them are almost gone, probably within the first 6 months. And the only people that you have left playing are the pros. And the thing about pros well, not even really pros, but people who are skilled at the game and have invested some time into it. And the thing about that is, those type of players, they only want to play noobs. That's how they get their enjoyment out of the game. They don't want to be challenged. Most of them don't want to be challenged. So a game like this is only going to be good in its what I call the honeymoon period. And then once the honeymoon period wears off, that's it. And it's going to be worse for a game like Tekken because Tekken is not a mainstream franchise. Hell, most of the characters don't even speak English. Like, what the fuck are they saying? I don't even know what the hell they're saying. Like, seriously? Yeah, so this is going to be good for the first few weeks, and then after that, you may as well toss it in the trash. And then you also have to factor in, because it's a fighting game, and this is a big issue that I have with fighting games, all fighting games, regardless of the company that makes them, or the individual franchise. Fighting games are the worst. It's one of the worst genres when it comes to monetization, because what gaming publishers do with fighting games in order to keep people invested and keep people spending money on these games, they've pretty much turned them into live service games, and they'll purposely withhold. They'll release a certain number of characters on the main roster at launch, and then over time, in order to get a more complete game, you gotta buy the rest of the fucking characters and shit. And Tekken 7 in particular, that was one of the worst games when it came to that. The DLC for that game, when it came to the characters, it was expensive. It was really expensive.
That's sad.
I can't recall the prices off the top of my head, but I think I recall one character being like almost $7 or $8.
That's crazy.
And that game had multiple DLC characters released. So, Tekken 8, I can see myself playing it or whatever when it comes out, but I'm not really enthusiastic for it.
Yeah.
My go-to fighting game company is NetherRealm Studios, and the most recent Mortal Kombat game that they released is not good. It's garbage.
Hmm.
Yeah, Tekken is like a far. I wouldn't say a far third. I would place Street Fighter as a far third, but Tekken, I would say they're a very distant second, from NetherRealm Studios. And
When you pull up that list too,
yeah,
I noticed they had Prince of Persia. I remember seeing the trailer for that, but the art style is just so far different from the original game. It turned a lot of people off.
it's a good thing you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because this game was actually delayed. They delayed it for, I think, over a year because the initial response to it was just that bad. And
Dang.
they didn't just delay this game. They also delayed the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, and
Oh man.
there's been no updates on that. In fact,
Inside the hourglass is a marvel no living man has ever.
now you look at the graphics and you look at the character models, and you wonder why people had the reaction that Ubisoft got the reaction that they got.
It's crazy they thought this was acceptable.
They put this shit on the shelf, and they haven't said shit about it since.
Man, 3 years ago, that's crazy.
3 years ago. Let's take a look at some of the comments. This is genius. Even the graphics went back in time. Now, see, see the this trailer was released 3 years ago, right? So this came out 1 year after the Resident Evil 2 remake, and it came out the same year of the Resident Evil 3 remake. So, Capcom, they really popularized, Capcom and Square Enix, they popularized this whole remake trend that's going on in the video game industry right now. So people already had a strong idea of like what, a remake should look like for an older game, and this doesn't even begin to meet the expectation that people had. So I suspect Ubisoft went, all the way back to the drawing board because they didn't, in the time since this trailer was released, they also announced a remake for the first Splinter Cell, and they haven't shown the trailer for that either. Yeah, a lot of people were sour on this, you know. But yeah, I don't see the Lost Crown doing too well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's January, and then we have February right here. You have this Grand Blue Fantasy game, which is a JRPG, and who knows how that's going to turn out. And JRPGs, that's a genre where it's like most of the games that come out are garbage. I'm just going to be fully honest. Persona 3 Reload is a remake of Persona 3, in the style and the same vein of Persona 5. So that's something that I'm interested in personally. You have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which no one in their right mind is looking forward to that. In fact, they just released this like a new web series.
I see you've already stolen traversal equipment. You'll need it to stay off the streets. Setting a new recon point. Go.
This looks like Overwatch on steroids.
Yeah.
It looks like Overwatch mixed with Sunset Overdrive. Like it's aimed, you could tell it's aimed at that audience.
Money talk, creeps walk,
I hear that.
It just looks terrible, dude. It looks so arcadish. They got little icons popping out of enemies and shit. It looks like fucking Crackdown. Now, mind you, they delayed this game for a year because of how bad the initial response was. This was supposed to come out back in February, and they delayed it for over a year, and it looks like nothing's changed. Oh my God, that looks terrible.
That's too silly for me.
Yeah, that looks awful. And this is supposed to take place in the same universe as the Batman Arkham franchise. So there was a part where they were walking around the Hall of Justice, and they had the larger like versions of the Justice League characters.
Sounds very grand, doesn't it? And it is.
She's a dame who can almost make me listen to a boring PSA.
Don't touch anything that's gonna set off an alarm. I ain't fighting any supers for you.
I have read much about the Justice League, and still...
They got Samoa Joe to play King Shark. Samoa Joe is you don't know him, but he is a former WWE wrestler. I think he's on AEW right now. Why would you get a wrestler to voice your character in your next big game? Did they not have the budget to, because they got Tara Strong for Harley Quinn, but you're gonna hire a wrestler to portray this guy. I don't understand that. Anyway, yeah, that's coming out in February, early February, and then the rest of this is just slop. And then you have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The Final Fantasy VII remake, it wasn't as popular as Square Enix wanted it to be, and who knows how this one's going to fare. Of course, when this comes out, it's going to get high scores and shit because it's Final Fantasy VII. people just go ape shit for Final Fantasy VII, but who knows, what the pitfalls are going to be, in terms of quality for this, because it's still a Square Enix release. But even
I can't believe Destiny 2 is still going.
yeah, I can't believe that either. But even if you somehow care about Rebirth, there's really nothing else after that. I read that Dragon's Dogma 2, the release date for it got leaked, and it's supposed to come out in late March, I think on the 19th, around there, around that time period. RPG fans, they'll have something to play in March. But beyond that, unless something else is announced for like April, you're just waiting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're just waiting in the void, basically. You have Black Myth Wukong. I think that's supposed to come out in May, but it's a Soulslide game. So that's going to automatically turn off some people. Same lock-on system, same damage sponge enemies. It just looks prettier, it looks fancier, but it's the same shit. You got your health bar, your stamina bar down here. Looks like you have a magic bar in the corner. An Estus Flask like healing system. Same rolling around shit. Yeah, he just used an Estus Flask. So yeah, that slop coming out, that's going to be overrated when it comes out. I won't be surprised if it gets 10s across the board.
I'm not even recognizing a lot of this other stuff.
Yeah, it just looks empty, dude. Like most of the year looks empty. You have this metaphor game Refantasio, which is like it's an RPG from Atlas, the same crew who makes the Persona games, and it's supposed to be like Xbox's answer to the lack of like RPGs. So you could pretty much view this as like an appetizer to the next Persona game, which is funny because they have an actual Persona remake coming out next year. Scroll down here. There's delays every year, so you don't know which of these games are going to be delayed.
Yeah, I remember you telling me Stalker 2 would definitely get delayed for sure. 'Cause I think that was supposed to come out in December, I think, but yeah, it got pushed back.
It actually was supposed to come out earlier this year, but because of the Russia-Ukraine war, because the company that's making this it's a Ukrainian company, they've been affected by the war going on over there. That's why it's been delayed. But there's been no release date or much new information that's been revealed thus far. You have Hellblade 2 that's coming out, but there's been no release date for it as of yet. It's empty, dude.
There's another Lord of the Rings game coming out, or is that some bullshit?
It looks like some bullshit.
Oh yeah, just off that cover alone, it does.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking goodness.
That looks terrible, dude. The Lord of the Rings IP has taken a beating this year, dude.
This is crazy.
Oh god. How is no one on the development team looking at this and saying, like, what are we doing?
A day of toil by pick and soil, hard of it all till days and way. Hey, when the work is done. sun, ale in my hand by the hearth.
I'm amazed at how bad this looks. This is the first time I'm seeing gameplay footage for this. Yeah, this is awful. What the fuck is this, dude? Seriously? Yeah, that looks as bad as Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't think they could top it, but they did.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Well, that's coming from a different development studio than
Crazy.
different publisher, different developer. The Lord of the Rings Gollum game, that was so bad, that was so poorly received, they shut down that company that made that game. The publisher shut down their development um, resources, so they no longer develop video games at all. That's how bad that game was. Dude, literally the only game I'm really looking forward to is Star Wars Outlaws. And that's a Ubisoft game.
Oh yeah, you're right. They are responsible for this one.
This is the only game I'm like looking forward to, and I'm not like overly excited for it, but it looks decent. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks really clean.
The rest of this is like you have the Square Enix game coming out. It's like, okay, we got another Final Fantasy mess coming out. We got Hellblade 2. I got it. I'm sure it'll be good, but there's no release date for it. And almost everything else, we have another remake coming out. Almost everything else is just like nonsense. Now, I understand we had a really good year with 2023. 2023 has been an excellent year for video games. But typically that's not the norm. And it looks like we'll be right back to the same bullshit next year. We still got fucking bunch of remasters coming out, remakes. We got more live service games like Suicide Squad coming out. It's like what's there to look forward to, really? Maybe that Dragon's Dogma game will be good. I don't know. But yeah, man. Star Wars Outlaws is really the only game I'm looking forward to next year, to be honest. That's it. Everything else
Yeah,
everything else is just a waste.
yeah, I agree with you there. This list looks terrible.
Oh well, that saves me money and time. So it is what it is.